Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phantom Zone. We've got some new stuff to talk about. I am going to be your host for the evening to the best of my power, Eric Fedorchuk. And who else is here with me?
I am here. I am the Arlen Haro. So yeah.
I am CM Punk Stan Hunter Davenport.
And I'm Lou Gonzalez, and I actually have to bring the biggest news story. My account got shut down, so you can no longer get all of my stuff on young_Kami on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I got.
Well, it's fine. There's going to be a digital spirit Halloween store on that site.
Oh,
so it's cool.
Find me on Pocket Stars.
Find him on Subscribe Star.
Oh God, what?
Yeah, you don't know about the other versions of OnlyFans. There's Pocket Stars.
I don't know any.
There's at least 100 of them.
So why don't you just make another site called like Other Fans?
Other Fans.
Like I barely know anything about OnlyFans to begin with. So hearing about like, oh, there's other things. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
what?
Me neither.
Not. Wow, Hunter, nice save. I was going to say not to out ourselves. I think everybody only knows of the ones that they have thought about subscribing to, or that they are subscribed to.
Yeah, so. Don't know anything about that.
Yeah, most of it I know is like, oh, the reality show my wife watches is like, and I watch with her sometimes. 90 Day Fiance. It's like, oh, all these people, they just make an OnlyFans afterwards.
So you said this in one of the chats. I do not understand.
So like,
I'm trying to comprehend.
Big Ed?
No, not Big Ed, but like almost all the women and a bunch of the men have done it.
Okay, but what are they posting?
Everything.
Cosplay.
I think they've like straight up like the guys have posted videos of them like
buttholes.
Everything and like them having sex and all sorts of stuff.
Okay. So wait, okay.
They're straight up
double standard on display with you telling me that is insane.
Yes, it actually, I will say it became a big controversy because they fired one of the people, a woman, and then one of the people who she was originally partnered with, like through the whole thing of the show, did the same stuff, but they didn't fire him. Because I think she had an OnlyFans, and she started doing like cam stuff also. And like they were.
See, this is
could you imagine if
Go ahead.
I was going to say, could you imagine if every woman on The Bachelor had an OnlyFans where they were posting illicit stuff? Like
nothing would ever get done ever.
See, yeah, but here's the thing: you're talking about something that's The Bachelor's on Fox or NBC or something.
It's on ABC, I think.
I'm talking about people who are on shows on TLC. Like,
see, this is the problem, though. To me, there is almost no difference between those two things.
Oh, there's a lot of
personally, but I understand that yes, there is a difference in terms of like what you learn about these people and what cracks they do or do not show.
Well, you saying that it's people from 90 Day Fiance, does that mean that what's her face, the one who had the guy from Morocco, she has her own at this point?
I honestly, without saying a name, I don't know.
Save Lou.
She was on the second season. She was the one who, like, the guy came in from Morocco and was like, "No, I can't kiss you. It's part of my religion."
Oh my God, I do know exactly who you're talking about. That was Danielle.
Greatest dumpster fire to
ever
exist.
Do you know what she does do though? She is a spokesperson for a sex toy company.
Oh yeah.
With her weird lazy eye and the glasses that are always down at the bridge of her or at the bottom of her nose. What? Go ahead, Arlen.
I was going to say, I don't know if I want to ask this or not. Is it a toy company that people would know, or is it one that's like super...
You're gonna make me. You're like gonna really mess up my Google algorithm.
Don't search for it if you don't want to.
I don't know. I don't know dildo companies by like name.
This is why we can drop the subject right now, because I'm not gonna list off dildo companies. I'm not doing it.
Hey man, chase your bliss.
I envisioned her like having having one that's just her preaching or some ridiculous bullshit or asking people for money to help her pay for her electricity bill, because I remember there was a while during that season that she didn't have any power because she couldn't afford it.
Well, and that's the least gross. Like, the thing of the whole show is the reason why they got divorced is because he said that her parts were very smelly.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was said on like a very big show.
Yeah.
It was on like the the 90s, the after show when they went to talk to everybody to see how things were going. Because my wife and I, like, when we had the first wave of COVID, like we started watching the first 2 seasons because I think it was on Hulu or whatever, and then after that we were like, all right, that's enough. I can't.
Oh, it's insane trash. I mostly watch it because I listen to Nicole Byer does a podcast where they talk about it, and like that's enjoyable enough for me.
I can't deal with it. But hey, we're not here to turn into the new 90 Day Fiance podcast.
Oh man, why not?
Oh God, there she is. We've got a little batch of MCU news to start off with.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're not interested in the 90-day
TV
universe?
I don't want to know about genital odors. I just want to talk about nerd
you
stuff.
Just want to talk about flying men.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so in a turn of events that surprises no one, Anthony Mackie officially signed to Cap 4. Like,
oh
yeah,
duh. Like,
really?
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money on that costume. Of course, they're going to get as much as they can out of it.
And not just like, and that costume looked fucking fantastic.
Yes, and I'm so happy for Anthony Mackie because he fucking deserves it. He is so good.
The timing is, everything is like so perfect, and that show, I love the show. I liked everything they did. Like, it is such a home run. I literally, I'm gonna put a poster in my classroom. I bought one to put up of him as Cap.
Yes,
it's fucking awesome.
You should, because you should. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
hashtag my Captain America.
Announcing this means that, I mean, I don't think they were ever going to do a bait and switch, but it shows that they're like sticking to the decisions made there. It is interesting that it took them. Has it been 4 months? Time is weird, so I don't know how long it's been since.
I didn't even know it was Saturday until Eric said something this morning. So
yeah. Time is meaningless.
Yeah, but it's been a minute. But hey,
I think I was only shocked that they were going to move into another film this quickly. Which I know this quickly means like nothing, because it'll be like 3 years from now. But you know what I mean?
We have no idea when this actually comes out. Like, there's nothing official in terms of when. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if we would see anything with Cap 4 until after they've kind of established Kang.
Yeah, I would assume it'd be after like the Marvels, and what are the other big ones that we know that are coming kind of way down the line?
Yeah.
Way down the line?
The most important one.
What is that? Blade?
Moon Knight.
Well, that's a TV show. That's
a show. We're talking about the movies.
But it's still the most important.
Oh, we should talk about that costume though when we come back around.
Well, the thing is though, like, as we learned with Loki, like, more than anything else, like, all of these shows are very important to things going forward. I think Loki was the one that pushed that idea forward the most, though, because, like, WandaVision, we already knew.
Loki set up the big thing that we all thought it could, but didn't actually think they would.
Yeah.
I mean, also, the shows are doing more to support like certain theories that have been around for a while outside of even Kang. Like, we're all pretty sure Young Avengers is happening. It's not really like a question at this point, other than they need to announce it.
The other character that connected stuff is what's her name? That's in Black.
Yeah. Yeah, Black Widow's sister, quote unquote. Yeah.
No, actually, that's not who I was talking about.
Florence Pugh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I stopped myself.
Dreyfus.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Madam Hydra.
Yeah. So like the TV shows have set up 2 of the possible big future villains of the MCU.
Well, it seems it's going to be like a team of villains. Kind of.
Yeah, it's probably.
Well, I could see Kang. I could see Kang leading like the what the hell is their name?
The Dark Avengers, Thunderbolts.
No, wow, what was
Masters of Evil?
Masters of Evil. Obviously, the calling.
I'd be okay. I'd be okay with that.
Kang being that Earthbound in that way. Maybe I mean they can make it work. I just don't.
I honestly see him more as being like what they wanted, like the kind of more comic version of the. I just watched Thor, so I should remember his name. Not the Collector. What's the other ones? The Grandmaster. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Of being like, oh, I want to collect all these action figures and have them like smash, and that's why he builds the Masters of Evil, because he's just bored.
See him being. I could definitely see him being a puppeteer, like being in the background, causing other chaos to occur. But again, I don't see him like being the leader of a team of villains on Earth.
Yeah,
I could see him being like a variant of him on the team.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, so on that note, like I know this is a thing that's DC, but like wasn't Darkseid like hiding as a human or something?
That's Final Crisis.
Yeah,
that's a whole weird Grant Morrison thing.
Yeah, that was originally when the plan was to replace all of the New Gods with DC characters. Like
what? Okay.
No, that's from way before that.
Oh, that is? I thought that was originally going to be the lead into Final Crisis.
Why would you do that?
Maybe I'm misremembering. Okay, because they actually did use that idea in Rebirth, so maybe that was a reused idea.
It was a reused idea because that was the original plan, and that's why like all of the New Gods were in human bodies. It wasn't just Darkseid in a human body. It was all of them.
Right. I didn't mean to go onto a giant tangent with that, but the point is like he could like mind wipe a variant and send.
Well, he doesn't even need to do that per se, because wasn't one of the Young Avengers like Anthony Stark?
Iron Lad was King from the future.
Yes.
And his armor got turned back brought the Vision back to life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which that all sounds like something they could easily use in all of this in many ways.
Even outside of the postulating stuff, like I saw on the since I have a new obsession with Marvel hats, the crew cap for Multiverse of Madness. On one side, it has Wanda's crown, helmet, whatever you want to call it. And on the other side is America Chavez's logo. And she was on the Young Avengers.
Pretty cool.
So that is a character that like they would be dumb not to like show up.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I think she's definitely in that. I mean, we've heard rumors for a while that she's coming.
She's a character I have like very little knowledge of, except she's an alien who chooses to be that name. And look like that, I think.
I don't know. I only found out about her in the Gillen run of Young Avengers.
Right.
Wait, she's a woman? Never mind. Not excited anymore.
Exactly.
Well,
she's an alien, though.
She's an alien.
Okay, that makes it better.
I mean, it does make it better. It does, absolutely.
So on to things that we could postulate about, because I didn't read anything about this, but Armor Wars. So I know about it
because there were 2 stories in particular that have to do with Armor Wars. That's why I just put Armor Wars.
Oh, are you talking about the Riri thing?
Yes. So that's the first one. She is going to be in Black Panther 2. Apparently, there's nothing really there. That's why I condensed them. But that's interesting. It's cool that they're confirming that.
It makes sense because they're having just watched it. Like the ending is like that they're building that setup in Oakland. It's like, well, if she's a student there, and after the blip, like if she's like 10 there, she's probably like 18 now.
Yeah.
Well, that, and if she's as smart as she's supposed to be, there's not going to be a Tony Stark around, so of course it would be Wakanda is where she would be interested in like working with them on their technology.
It's also a really good way to leverage like Shuri out of there if need be.
True. True. That's a good point. If she says any more stupid anti-vax stuff.
Yeah. Right.
On top of being transphobic, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remembered more, I think, was the
that was the one that stood out. The vax stuff like last summer, I don't forgive it, but whatever.
It's like it's weird to say understandable, but like it's a more like less angering way to see
right. But to reveal yourself as transphobic like very shortly after JK decided to just show her whole ass to the entire world,
like fuck off.
You know what? I'm remembering. I think she didn't technically do that. She retweeted something from somebody who was transphobic.
Yes, it was. It was like a like
but the
podcast.
the tweet itself or whatever wasn't.
It was more about vaccines.
That's what I think you're getting confused with. Is like she had retweeted a link to a video that was from YouTube or something talking about like the dangers of vaccines. She's like, something to think about. And it's like, really? Because I didn't hear anything about the anti-trans
But I think that
stuff.
either the person or the video also talked about transphobic stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So she got 2 for 1. Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Good job, Letitia. You're doing great.
Just completely write somebody off, really, when you get two of those in the same barrel.
Yeah. She went up to bat with 2 outs already. Great.
The thing I will say in her defense is she's like 19 at the time or 18.
Yeah.
So like I don't know.
Kids are fucking stupid. I agree.
And also her PR people should be like,
on the
get off
stuff,
Twitter. Don't use Twitter.
What I like about the Riri thing is that it allows us to examine some of the same themes as the first movie. I'm still very fascinated as to what this next movie will be, and how it will function.
The functioning will be very interesting because it's again having literally we watched it yesterday. Like it would be weird unless they introduced a new character for it to not be Lupita.
I mean,
to take the mantle.
I don't think they're going to have anyone take the mantle at this point, honestly.
Not at the beginning of it. No.
Because just the entire concept is very interesting what they will do.
Well, that's everything I've read, anytime something's come up about Black Panther, or the Wakanda Forever, at least, it's been people saying the script is changing wildly. Well, not wildly, but the script is changing on the fly. So it's constantly going through renovations.
Well, I'm sure that they probably had an original version where when he was still alive, and it's well, now our lead is dead.
Yeah.
In a terrible, tragic, horrible way. And then it's well, then what do you do?
What do you do?
Literally, what do you do? And honestly, even if he was right, I don't even know what a Black Panther 2 would look like.
Well, the rumors I had read were Namor.
That would be baller as fuck.
That was the thing that I've been hearing continually is Namor is going to be a big thing in this.
That is a great way to introduce him too.
Yeah. It is.
And that would be some crazy casting.
Yeah, I hope they go with a strong Asian actor because
you know who I was thinking of? What's his name? Who got the shit end of the stick in Hellboy, the new one?
Oh, Daniel Day Kim?
Daniel Day Kim would be dude, because he is a tall drink of Asian man.
He is very handsome. I agree. He's very handsome.
I'm trying to think, what would be the correct beverage? Milk tea? Bubble tea?
Boba tea.
Yeah, he's a tall drink of boba tea. Is that the title of the episode?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I feel in my mind, he fits the physical look of what I would imagine Namor to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there was another actor that I can't even remember who he is now.
Johnny Knoxville.
The guy that's been in a lot of Marvel stuff, but never as a lead. The dude who's in Elektra and the Wolverine.
You said Marvel stuff, and my mind did not say Elektra or the Wolverine.
That is Marvel.
I think on the app they call it Legacy.
Yeah.
Whatever, Lou. I don't.
I'm just being a dick.
Well, also he was also in both seasons of the show that Anthony Mackie was in. Fuck.
The
there's-
Wire?
No, god damn it, Lou. Recently, the one where he took over from the big white dude.
Oh,
who's
on
in-
Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the one
Yes.
about the body thing, like where you can have your mind transferred to different bodies. Yeah, I can't remember.
The
Sleeves,
sci-fi
yes.
Twilight Zone.
But he played the original. He played the original version of the character Takeshi Kovacs. That actor.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's been in a lot of stuff, and everything he's in, he's good. He's just drawn a bad hand and gets to be the villain of Elektra. So, yeah.
Everyone's favorite Marvel movie. What was
it was my favorite for reasons when I was 11.
But then you found OnlyFans.
No, he found documentaries that kind of
documentaries is what I found.
Edutainment.
He found National Geographic magazines. What was the other Armor Wars story? Because you said there were two of them.
I found a writer.
It was
the War Machine.
They have a head writer.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd seen that briefly. I just didn't get to read the article.
Yeah, he. So the writer worked on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and a bunch of other stuff, which is like
Carmichael Show, Girls, bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
real.
Oh, is it solid. Will Yoon Lee?
I don't remember.
Lester.
I don't remember their name. Yeah.
No.
He's talking about the Asian actor.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that guy. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
You know what voice he does? For a video game.
What?
Oh, is he Liu Kang?
No, he is Arakawa in Like a Dragon.
Oh, damn.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
His filmography isn't that great. Like,
you can't win them all.
You are right. He does do a voice in a Mortal Kombat game, and you picked the wrong Asian character.
What is it?
He's Kung Lao.
Okay.
No,
so he's the one with the hat.
That fits him much better, actually. He's much more of a Kung Lao than he is a Liu Kang. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know, Susie. I just can't go out with him. He's not as much a Kung Lao as he is a Liu Kang.
In my head, he played Nobu in that Elektra movie. I'm gonna keep bringing this up if we don't.
I forgot Nobu was in that movie.
No, but he's not.
He plays Kirigi. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
I don't know if that's a Daredevil character or not. I have no clue.
I can tell you that he was also in the new Red Dawn, and I'm guessing he's one of the big bads.
If you had to ask, yes,
they have to overdub to make him Korean instead of Chinese.
Yes.
Yeah, where they had to change his shirt and everything. That movie takes place where I live. Was shot in Colorado. Ask me if I'm salty about that later.
But are you Wolverine?
The last thing on the list was Eternals trailer, but we don't have to talk about it really.
I do want to say this trailer did more to get me hyped than the first one.
Yeah.
I'd honestly rather talk about that Moon Knight costume that might be real.
Yeah.
So here's my problem with that. I don't like it because it's not official, and I just don't.
Arlen, they literally took down all those photos.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official.
Yeah, they've been pulling them left and right.
It is. If it's not, that is the best fan-made costume I've ever seen.
It's amazing if that's fake or if it's just a mock-up. If it's something that they're not going to use, but they were testing.
Yeah, it's conceptually almost perfect. I love the mummy aspects of it.
Yes, it makes so much sense.
I like that they're doing the glowing eyes. I feel like.
I definitely think he's going to have the Spider-Man Deadpool eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been doing these kinds of movies for 40 plus years, almost 50 years, and how many of movies have the fucking eyes? 2, maybe 3.
Well, at this point, 4: the 2 Deadpools and the 2 Spider-Mans, or whatever movie Spider-Mans are in.
Yeah, well, if I force myself to include BVS, if I force myself to include that, then I guess that counts because he has the glowing things when he's all souped up or whatever.
That's part of an exosuit. That's different.
Yeah.
I know, Lou, but if I'm cheating, 5.
And I'm a teacher, so I'm failing you.
Exactly.
Fair enough. That's within your right.
Get dunked on, nerd.
Wow. Jeez.
No.
But yeah, I like the only place I saw that Moon Knight costume was on memes. Like,
I did too.
That's the best part.
like
Well, if you were gonna leak a thing, what better way in 2021 than memes?
Well, and I mean, I've seen some photos, like, or some of that photo, like, where people have put like property of Marvel at the bottom. Like, no, you did that yourself, you asshole. Like, Marvel would not do something like that. They would not accidentally have something drop. And even if there was a picture, like, even if there was a picture that dropped somewhere that Marvel knew it was theirs, like, they would still never plaster it with property of Marvel. Like, they would have something embedded in the code. Well, yeah, but
now they don't even need that. They have like programs that have like little hidden like glitch marks and thing, or weird watermarks.
There'd be hidden watermarks and shit in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but regardless,
that design is so cool. Like it has like even the color like works for me because it's not. It looks dirty in the correct way. If that makes sense.
Yep.
He looks intimidating too, which is good.
Oh yes. Like, if someone walked in the room wearing that costume, you want to go, "What are you wearing?" You'd be like, "I just shit my pants. I'm leaving.
I gotta go."
Yeah, exactly. And then he'd ask you where Dracula was. All right.
Yeah.
So, not really shocking many people, but the Black Canary movie was announced, and I'm wondering, is this going to be a direct to HBO Max deal, or is this going to attempt to go to theaters?
Is this supposed to be the same Black Canary?
Yes.
It is. Well, it is, and it's I believe it's the writer
the one in
of
Birds of Prey.
Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why it's a good question. Will this be on HBO? Because I mean, she did a fairly good job on HBO before, so it would make sense. But I'm not seeing.
She knocked it out of the park. Like,
I need to see that show because, like, I looked at her name. I was like, "Wait, is she related to that other guy?" And then it's like her brother. That's her brother. I was like, "Oh, yeah." So I need to see Lovecraft Country though. But
wait, you've never seen Lovecraft Country?
I've had no time.
Oh,
and I use my time very poorly when I do have it.
You act like having a baby is tough. What the hell, man?
Yeah, it's so easy. You just feed it.
You give it a can opener and leave it in a room full of fucking canned goods.
Yeah, you just don't drop it on the ground while it's in your arms. It's really
you say that, but honestly, that is the hardest part. It is very wiggly.
If you need a babysitter, you just turn on the TV for a few hours. You're good.
I just leave it with the dog.
I mean, it's exactly. Yeah, Rose will be fine with it.
Rose is responsible.
I mean, if you want to start toughening her up now, like, just break like a toe, like, once a week, and just get her used to the idea of pain.
She is 6 weeks old and she's seen 3 MCU movies,
and one of them was their first female-led one too.
Yeah, one of them was Black Widow.
Yeah,
and she will empowerment. So she's seen Black Widow, Black Panther, and Thor, which has like the bullshitty first gay character, I think.
Which
they apply.
Oh, Valkyrie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That they don't even say anything about.
It's like sort of implied. Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, apparently it wasn't even implied in the original version of the movie. It was directly.
If you look at her performance, when she says when she first talks about it, it's like, oh, very obviously, like, somebody who she loved died.
Yep.
And she'll watch Shang-Chi whenever that comes out. When we have to wait 45 days, isn't that out in theaters already?
No, not yet.
Shang-Chi, no,
September.
It's like next week or the week after.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
that's fucking dumb.
Black Canary. I do think it is going to HBO Max. Actually,
okay,
I think
that doesn't shock me.
Good,
which makes sense with what they've been talking about, with everything that they've been saying about.
Well, and their pattern of what they've been doing too. Yeah. Like post Wonder Woman, like I was so happy that what they did with Suicide Squad, like that's give me that. Like the 30-day window is dumb, but like I kind of get it more now.
And it's a very weird situation to say this, but they've just been doing better by putting stuff on a television service. Like regardless of how we may feel about the whole experience, like I don't think Snyder Cut would have been good in a theater. I don't think I would have enjoyed it nearly as much.
There's no way I would have gone.
No.
Yeah.
No, not for like what, 3.5 hours, 4 hours.
Like
4 hours,
it would be impossible not to go to the bathroom. Like it's impossible.
Even if you leave for that epilogue, even if you just like, I'm out, I'm done. I know the movie's ending in 20 minutes. So bye-bye. I will watch the Martian Manhunter stuff much later
online. Yeah.
Yeah. Even then, it's too long.
Yeah, I don't have 4 hours to spend watching Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather spend that time watching the cartoon.
It was perfect on the television, aside from the whole ratio.
I honestly, after like a little while, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I would say after about like 15 minutes, I was fine with it.
It became.
I think that's like a way to train your brain, and maybe it's different because like obviously Eric's ancient and I'm slightly older than you guys, so I remember when TV looked like that. So maybe that's more of like.
I can't speak for Hunter, but we still had tube TVs up until like 2012 in my house. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can remember like the advent of DVDs, and then it's like, all right, well, do you want the full screen or the widescreen version? And then it's like you have to explain to people, like, no, the widescreen, you're getting more of the picture. Like, but no, doesn't pick up the whole screen.
You're talking about this like this is an old discussion. I have this discussion now with my.
I had VHS all the way up to 2008, like straight up.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry.
So wait, you had VHS when they were starting to come out with Blu-rays?
Well, because we had I had a DVD player at my dad's house, but at my mom's house didn't really have much, so it was like, all right, well.
And like I told you guys in the chat, like I walked into my classroom and there is like I don't even know what the size would be, but like a 45, 50-inch like was a CRT TV like with a VHS player, and I was just like in shock staring at this. I'm like, wow, I'm like Indiana Jones staring at an ancient artifact, and they're like, oh yeah, don't go under it, and don't let people under it because they fall.
Well, and on the DVD thing, like we had 2 DVD players in our house, but every room of our house had a VHS player. So yeah, that's just how that worked out.
On a quick side note with the CRTV, Lewis, you could actually get a lot of money for that because there's a whole lot of.
I'm gonna look it up when I'm in there on Monday. I'll be like, oh, I'll take all of them.
Both of those components are highly sought after by people I don't fully understand.
Well, I know
because CRTV, I know a lot of gaming people like because they want to hook up the old systems to them, which I do understand.
I understand that one a little bit. Yeah, I kind of get that one. Yeah, because it's not the same.
A lot of competitive fighting game players who play older games definitely prefer CRTs to regular modern day TVs.
Because I have a Genesis and I have 2 and they're like hooked up and stuff, and like it obviously works playing it on like a big flat screen, but it's like you do lose a bit. I can't remember. There was like a TikTok thing I was watching. The guy was like actually showing side by side of how like because the games were designed for that, like people actually built in like the shittiness of them to like work with the art.
Yeah. And like the Sony Wegas are like, from what I know, the creme de la creme of like CRTVs. So I used to have one. It was great. I loved it.
How many pounds did it weigh? About like 1,500.
Anyways, this has been your.
It weighed a lot. It weighed a lot.
Yeah, this has been your vintage television talk.
Oh wait, can I say one other thing on vintage television that just popped in my head? We had a projector TV, like a huge one, and literally, I think within the first year, a spider got inside and died in the screen, like between the plastic and the screen. So there was just a dead spider there for like 15 years.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds like it's worth in the Magnus Archives.
The spider signal. So yeah, the next thing on our list was Zendaya is going to be the lead of Dune 2 when that doesn't come out.
Well, what character is she playing again?
She's playing Chani.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's playing the Fremen woman
The
that
one that he
Paul's in
falls
love
in love.
with.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one that he has children with, but he
So
can't
how
marry
is
her.
she the lead?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
This is a thing that she said in an interview, I think, and I didn't get a chance to look into this, but I guess there was an update to this story, where it's more that she's the co-lead of the potential part 2 that they haven't made yet.
Because isn't she? I feel like she's with the kids, isn't she? In the later books, for like a chunk.
She's only around for the second book, and then after that, from what I remember, she isn't really around at all after that. Because the second,
I thought she's with the son. I thought she's with him for a bit
in the second book.
Yes, in the second book.
But in the third one, like the kids are kind of off on their own. So her role was just to give birth to these kids that would eventually become the new rulers and change the entire eco-structure of Dune. Yeah, exactly. So
the man who turns into a giant
sandworm. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
He has all the baby sandworms and he has no dick.
Yeah, it's it's because he's wearing them as armor. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm fine like with them giving her a bigger role because I mean in the book, if I remember correctly, Chani had a somewhat bigger role, but still, it just I don't know. It strikes me as weird.
It's an interesting thing to say before the first movie has even come out.
Yes.
And it's Dune, like of all movies.
Yeah.
Like,
because the only recurring characters are like Paul, Duncan, Idaho, and then Harkonnen kind of pops back up later on.
I don't like. I've never read Dune or like watched the David Lynch movie, but like this seems like a weird thing to like make a franchise out of.
Well, no, I would say
it's never going to be a franchise.
It's too insane to be a franchise, but I understand the idea.
Well, it can't be. I've said this before. I think that this would have been perfect for television.
Well, that's what it wasn't originally. Wasn't there a TV?
I mean, apparently they were talking about it, and they're still talking about it. They're still considering doing later books as television. They have said that.
They make way more sense the first one. I understand doing a movie because I think it's a little bit more cinematic.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the thing, because the second one kind of would screw a lot of people up if it got released in the theaters, because Paul isn't as big a part of that book.
He's like nothing in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, if they tried to do that one in 2 parts as well,
it's like his part in the second book is like, oh, there's a desert guy. I wonder if that guy's important. Oh,
yeah,
shit,
exactly.
It's Paul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't
that the 3rd or the 4th book?
That's the second book.
That's
the third.
Okay.
The 3rd book is when things start getting kind of wacky with
when he rolls
kids.
around in worms and becomes like a worm armor guy.
Yeah, that's at the very
4th
end.
book is when he gets.
That's
the 3rd book is right when his wife died, and the 4th book is when he's like mega horny, and it's all about the ladies.
If I remember correctly, the 3rd one is when like what is it, Leto Atreides? I think that's his name.
Yeah, Leto. Yeah.
He's starting to figure out the golden path because he's realizing he's kind of got he's also a Quetzalcoatl cataract. And at the end of it is when he gets the worm armor, and then the 4th book is when he becomes the giant sandworm. It's been a long time.
I think the end of the 3rd one he dissolves, and that turns Arrakis back into. Because in the end of the 2nd book, Arrakis starts to become terraformed because the sandworms are going away.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And then that's why, because
with the horniness though is that it's not the Bene Gesserit, but the other group of like witch women who use sex as a weapon, and they're all over that book.
I don't know. I remember in the 3rd one, it was also when you had the Gola of Duncan, Idaho running around, and that's also when
they clone him. That's why he's like the only returning character.
Yeah, well, that's the Benny Twi'leks who do that, and also Paul's sister is kind of the villain of the 3rd book.
Yes, well, that's where like the Harkonnen kind of comes back through her.
Yeah, yeah, she's having visions of the Baron. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're that problem where she was pregnant when the mom drank the juice.
Yep. And she gained all of the Reverend Mother's memories and abilities and all that. Yada yada.
Of all her ancestors, which include the Harkonnens.
Yep.
So this has been your Dune corner.
Yeah. It's. I love it. I love Dune so much. It's such a well thought out.
If someone hasn't made a
sci-fi
podcast
series.
called like Dune Buggy that's just about talking about Dune,
damn it! God damn it, Lewis.
I can make dad jokes now.
Recorded in Sand Dunes. But yeah, this is an interesting thing for her to say before the first movies even come out. I don't think it's gonna change the story that much, so it doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me. It just
what? What I can see them doing, which I don't know if you'd call the stars, like she's the narrator.
I can
like
see that.
if she's the POV character, I can see that, but like her character is not the focal point.
I know I'm sure the book doesn't do this, but if you think of just the Lynch movie, it's not really his POV after he starts to like become the guy in charge and like starts leading the experiment. It becomes
it's the moms.
Like yes, it's so shifting that to maybe mom and Zendaya kind of makes more sense. I get the feeling that the mom might not be making it out of this first movie just based off of what we've seen. I don't know if that's true or not.
No, she's kind of an important part of the series, at least the first book. So there's no way they could kill her off and tell the same story.
She's more integral to plot than Paul.
I mean, yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, they could shift some of that stuff to Shawnee and give her more to do. And
I know, but she doesn't have the Bene Gesserit teachings, and that's what makes Paul's mom so important to the very opening of the story.
Paul is more like an Anakin Skywalker, but he becomes Anakin. He's like and it disappears kind of like into the background in one story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just throwing stuff out there. I don't know what
because he refuses to walk the golden path.
Yep.
Maybe. Yep. I mean, here's the thing: they can do whatever they want. I don't think there are enough people that are precious about Dune.
But the ones who are insane.
Yes.
True. This is fair. Also, we're talking about a movie that may not actually exist. Once again, as Eric is to point out,
it does. Everyone is cast in it. Fucking Polka Dot Man is in it. As we discussed last week.
The second one, but like again, Eric, I think you're right. I think best case scenario, we do get a second movie, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So.
A second movie, maybe we get a very expensive TV show.
Well, that's absolute.
See, as weird as it is, before we leave this, like Dune would be like a very good pseudo replacement for Game of Thrones in many ways.
I thought the two that I've always thought should be the replacement for Game of Thrones were Dune and Dark Tower. I've always felt that they would make great television shows. And
Well, and especially after listening to that Kingcast episode where Glenn Mancera talked about his plans, and it's like everything makes sense. Why is he not doing this?
Or especially now, like The Stand, which is not on CBS.
Yeah, and apparently it wasn't that great.
No, well, I was gonna say this is my way to transition into. I don't think it was on the list, but like Eric, have you seen the newer Why the Last Man trailer?
I only saw the one that you had posted, the one that
with Diane Lane and everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's all I need to see. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it was perfect. And I say this as someone I read that book like a decade ago, and
they got the
cannot
tone
wait
exactly
for that.
right. Yeah.
Yes. And Diane Lane is like perfect casting if there ever was.
I love Diane Lane so much. She's so good. She's so good in everything.
Yeah. Even those Snyder movies, she's good.
So yeah, it's actually kind of ironic that you had the thing about Dune Part 2 above this next story because Spawn continues to not exist.
I can't believe they just now locked in a writer. That is so funny.
It's amazing. It's it's comical. And they're not intending for this to be funny, but it's fucking hilarious.
They have to realize it's a joke at this point. They have to.
Well, Todd makes so much money on everything else he does. Like, the Spawn movie is a pet project.
But Lou, for that reason, do you think Todd McFarlane understands actual human life anymore? Like, do you think he's one of those people that is beyond the point of getting it and understanding just how bizarre some of the things he will say come across?
I'm not saying that he's like a sane individual. I do think he's like I do watch. Yes, I do understand. Which I wonder how much those have depreciating value. Which I feel like there needs to be an explanation to the two other people in this podcast because they probably have no idea what we're talking about. Todd McFarlane bought Sammy Sosa and McGuire's home run baseballs.
I do know what you're talking about. You said it, and it all came rushing back to me.
Yeah,
because
which not even from like
he's also a giant sports geek.
But he had all those licenses, or I think he still has for all the toys.
I think he does.
And now he has DC too, which the DC figures he puts out are awesome. I own way too many.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think at this point, you're not exactly wrong with this just being a pet project for him, Arlen, because he's raking in money from DC for doing his figures. Because I can't imagine he's cheap to hire as a studio.
Oh, he's one of the probably big three or probably big three toy makers.
He's up there with companies that have been around for a while and companies that are not just, I mean, I don't assume that he's a small operation now, but still it's his name on the masthead.
Well, I mean,
that says a lot.
I might be misremembering because I mean, I used to read Toy Fair along with Wizard all the time, but for some, I know it was really funny. It was written really well, and it's the only way I can actually justify. Well, not justify. It's the only way I can live vicariously through looking at these toys because I can't justify buying them.
Right.
But if I remember correctly,
you don't want to buy that $200 Sentinel.
No, and I don't. I swear to God, I don't want to buy that $400 Galactus.
That's what I was talking about. The Galactus. That's what I was. But
if I remember correctly, like McFarlane Toys, like they were like celebrated as bringing about a bunch of like renovations. Like they brought about a bunch of new ideas and ways of making toys, and just the way they can make amazing sculpts, but also make them versatile.
Oh, I can tell because I own one from the previous before he took over. I think it's the Ray, and then which was like the last group, right? Then before he took over, and it's like, oh, this toy looks like it's worth $20, and then the McFarlane one looks like it's worth like $50. Like it looks like the DC Essentials, which is on now, like quality of figure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about toys, so I can't really speak on that. But
I'm gonna read a line from the story that came up when I was looking for the Spawn stuff. In April 2009, we reported that Todd McFarlane was in talks to make a new Spawn movie. Since then, children have been born and grown to the age of 12 without information. This is a Splash Film article. So well done, Slash Film. Good job, guys.
So Todd McFarlane's better than the U.S. and Afghanistan, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So far.
Yep. Yeah.
Barely.
God damn. So yeah, they like Hunter said at the beginning, they did finally sign a writer. Okay.
It's been what? How many years has Jamie Foxx been attached? Like 4?
Let's see.
Still attached.
Yeah, I don't think he's attached. I don't.
Well, what the fuck else is he doing? I see him on commercials for MGM gambling.
The reporter says that Fox and Renner are still attached.
Well, what is Jeremy Renner gonna do? I mean, let's be honest here.
He's got that Hawkeye TV show coming out that we all know he's gonna die in.
He's gonna play Twitch. It says Renner was gonna play Twitch.
That's interesting casting. Not who I would picture, but he needs some money to pay off his divorce. So
right,
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of money.
Yeah, and to pay his wife's medical bills because he used to, stuff like that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What happened? Wait, no, we need to examine that. I don't know anything about what you just said.
Do you not know that about do you not know about the thing of
the what?
Yeah.
He's divorced. A lot of stuff came up, like his drug addiction and like I don't know if I saw
he pulled a gun on his wife at some point. I remember that.
Oh, okay. He sounds like a great guy.
It seemed like from the things like he was pretty bad cocaine addict and was like fucking nuts.
He's not He's not a good person.
He's trying to rehab his image. He did one of those to go back to the channel TLC. Like, I'm building a home for somebody I care about. I think he built his home for his mom. He with the Property Brothers.
Well, if it's anything like all the other TLC home shows, that means it either was half.
Well, he also takes.
Oh, go ahead, Hunter.
He also likes to take a lot of pictures of him clapping and like applauding.
Well, it's because he wants people to see his gross. Doesn't he have like gross hands or something?
I don't. He's weird. He's a weird dude.
Okay. So yeah, Spawn is never coming out. I'm sorry. Nope. I'm sorry, all you edgelords out there. It's never coming out, and it's the wrong time for it to exist, anyways. Spawn's time is over. They fucked it up. It was bad movie.
How would you even do that origin now for it to like make him not be horrible from the start?
I don't know.
So there's a lot of things about this. Maybe I'm wrong here. I feel like Spawn was a flash in the pan. He's of the moment that he came to be. I don't think he has like staying power. And I understand that there may have been people saying that about Batman in 1950.
No. I would say of those 90s characters, he's kind of the guy. Like I don't put Hellboy in that group because I think he's kind of a different animal.
I think Hellboy is transcendent, though.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I think he's. I don't think he's part of that, but like, of those like '90s Image line stuff, which was like a whole thing. Like, Spawn is definitely the top dog.
I mean, he's doing better than Savage Dragon, but like, come on.
No, Savage Dragon is having like 5 ways with his like adopted sister.
Well,
his partner,
if you're talking about the reality within,
he's getting off left and right.
Yeah, Eric Larson's doing. He found a new crowd.
Yes,
in the reality he exists in, he's doing great. He's having a fine time.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like compared, what would they go like? The Darkness, like it had its second when they did the video games and
like. Maybe,
but that was still years after the comic was popular.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee sold all his stuff to DC, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you can bring back Spawn and maybe you can do something interesting with him now, but I don't know. It just feels too much like the right moment.
The world is really cool. Like the Spawn universe is a very fun playground.
So Luke,
like Cyborg.
How much of that has been ripped off by other things?
Exactly.
And done really
all of
that's my point. Is like so like Buffy steals a lot from Spawn, and Buffy is still kind of more successful and more like culturally relevant than Spawn is.
I would say this is going to be a very weird comparison, but Spawn is to comics as Power Rangers are to like those shows. Like
right. Here's the thing. Power Rangers, it just keeps on existing, so it's omnipresent, so they can just keep on doing it. And the chances are that eventually one Power Rangers thing will actually be like transcendent. It just hasn't happened yet.
Well, it kind of had its one comic book that like kind of popped hard. Like,
sure.
Spawn's also like, he's never let it die because he's been in how many video games?
Well, and beyond that,
he's gonna go away. I think Spawn will always be like a Betty Boop. I think that's what I'm thinking.
I also think.
I
hate that.
He can be put in Universal somewhere and just shuffled off in a corner where kids are like, "What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Spawn."
I do.
And occasionally he's there in the background of other things. But what I'm saying is like, he's too derivative right now of other things. Other great interesting things have come after him that are more flexible and pliable, where it's not obvious that somebody was like, what if I use my Venom design that I've been doing for 10 years and I give him chains? Like,
all right,
it's so obvious what his inspirations are and what the mashups that created him are, that I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I think the one thing you're missing is the cultural significance of Spawn is less of it is the extreme 90s bullshit, but it's also like he was one of the first very big, very visible black. quote-unquote superheroes.
Yep.
And that has landed him on like a pantheon. Because like, who are like the biggest name like black superheroes? Like it's like
Black Lightning.
Well now he is, but he wasn't
Bishop.
before this.
Right.
Bishop, I would put in there. What's his name? Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
And
so Lou, I don't
Storm.
I don't think
like how many X-Men are we gonna name?
I don't think that's a bad point, Lou. But like,
well, I'm saying like I agree with you, but I think the point, like the reason he has that stickiness is that fact, and that's why he sticks a little bit longer.
Well,
is that the reason though?
Two things. Two things about Spawn, real quick. One, the thing that makes a movie not work for Spawn is because his art style, depending on who is the artist, is very unique, and it requires special effects that I don't even think we have now to make that cape and the chains work the way they do.
No, because if they did, Venom would look better.
That's the thing. We can't make him look good visually. That's the other part.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, I may be proven soundly wrong by them doing like a very good-looking version of that. But
I don't know why he doesn't just do
a live-action adaptation. He should do another animated thing. Absolutely.
That first animated show is so many decades ahead of its time.
Yeah,
like
it's really gorgeous. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to bring up about Spawn is that when I think Spawn had some of its best moments when Todd McFarlane wasn't involved with it anymore.
Oh yes,
like he stepped away for a while, and that's when what is it?
Capullo
was doing it, and like
that's where he made his like bones real.
And it's also when people started experimenting with like Spawn offshoot comics that would be like horror. Well, not even Sam and Twitch, but I mean like stuff that was Spawn, but it was like
the side stuff. There was like the Hellspawn series, which was like
that was
wild.
fucking phenomenal. It was
great.
It's
like watercolors. I think is the artist.
Some of it. It was different. Well, it was different artists for some of it, but yeah, I mean that's the other thing with Spawn is that like stop trying to make him a fucking superhero. Like,
well, he's Ghost Rider, but
but he's not though because he's even he shouldn't have to deal with those morals that Ghost Rider does because Ghost Rider still is essentially a good guy, while Spawn like he can be a good guy, but he's better as being like that short film that came out all those years ago, where like you don't really see his face, you just have like actually a well done version of his cape because it's not trying to be like his entire cape. It's just elements of it like pulling things in and it's menacing. And that's what I think they've missed out on because they want to turn him into fucking Superman or Wolverine or somebody. Like it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I think that's going to be what happens with Todd McFarlane's Spawn is that he wants to make him a superhero.
Well, which is funny because everything that he said, and I say this as everything Todd has said, which I enjoy calling him just Todd, is that he wants it to be more horror forward. So I wonder if that's
him when he says that. I just like if, but
I just
maybe
think which is funny because that cartoon. Well, that cartoon is very horror forward.
Yeah.
But, I also think he's very hard to work with because he's he's a crazy person.
Like
he's an artist. He's a maniac.
Yeah.
Arlen, what were you going to say?
That's why there wasn't a second movie. Like I don't think
it also bombed.
Well, this is a decade
for good reason.
Yes.
Where I think that if they really thought that they had something with it, they would have soldiered on. They would have said, "Well, we'll just get a different director. We'll just fire everybody who was on the first."
I think if they had spent the money to get a big lead for that movie, yes.
Sure.
See,
I don't think
I don't think the lead was the issue. I don't think Michael Jai White was.
He's perfectly cast.
Yeah,
but he doesn't carry the gravitas of like if they had who was like a big name around that time.
Let's take a step back and examine the sentence you just dropped on us. The gravitas when relating it to Spawn. Come on.
I didn't mean by that. I didn't mean the character. I meant like within Hollywood.
But see, I don't think that's the issue. Go ahead, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that even Spawn even has gravitas to be like in any.
No. I'm talking about like if it was like say they made a movie now with Jamie Foxx and it did like what that movie did then, like same kind of like percentage. I think having a name like Jamie Foxx can make it go somewhere as opposed to having Michael Jai White.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Jamie Foxx carries weight with his.
Again, I don't see anything happening with Spawn ever because like it's such like Eric was saying, it's like it is such a product of its time. Like nobody
100% is.
It's I don't see anybody outside of people like you or Connor being really excited about this.
You know what just popped in my head? You know where Todd really fucked up is that like I think Invincible probably stole thunder that if he would have made an animated show again, it would have gotten that.
But once again, you're talking about two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but I mean, just like in the hyper violence of like a comic book.
Yeah, but
animated.
It's still different tones. It's still completely different
Invincible
tones.
is more. It has more to it than Spawn.
Well, it's satirical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spawn is just like, look at how fucking edgy this character is. He fights demons. There's a clown. Like, and I'm like, okay.
The clown is the one.
And Invincible is still fun, even if you do have people having like their arms ripped off or whatever.
Yeah.
But
there's no fun in Spawn.
No, and I don't get me wrong, like there was a time and a place for that, but that was also before like comics were being appreciated for what they could be. Like it was more just, oh well, this is going to be edgy because nobody else is doing this. It's like, that doesn't mean it needs to exist. Like,
I do want to say that like I didn't even realize or understand how I became like the Spawn stan. Where like I really don't care.
Well, I mean, you're the one. When you play devil's advocate so much, sometimes you find things out about yourself.
I just like I was like, why am I arguing about the Spawn movie? I honestly don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I haven't read anything Todd's done in a while. Like I don't care.
Hey, neither is he. The other thing is, if Jamie Foxx was to star in a Spawn movie, you are fucking crazy if you think he's going to be wearing a mask through most of that movie. Like,
no,
there's no way. There's no way.
They are going to sell that movie on his face, and I guarantee that the special effects might look better, but his face would be even more recognizable than Michael's.
He did Electro.
I mean, I'll go one step further. Half the movie he'll be Al still.
Yep.
I actually would not. I wouldn't find it terrible if a lot of the movie was. Theoretically, if they just kept flashing back to him like as Al and trying to figure out like why he went to hell, like the discovery, that wouldn't be a bad movie.
Let's continue to talk about things that aren't going to feature people like Jamie Foxx and Spawn. Noah Hawley's Alien series will not feature Ripley, which thank Christ.
Oh my god, yes, it's not called Ripley or Ripley's, except for the one movie, which is kind of Ripley's. When she enters that one room.
What are you saying? Are you having a stroke?
No. Was it Alien 4?
Yeah, I love her.
Alien 4, where she has to kill
I love her.
Like,
kill me.
Malformed clone.
I love her series of books for children.
Yeah, I do have to say I'm glad Arlen at least kind of knew what I was getting at.
Yeah, no, I make jokes about Alien 4 all the time, and nobody really seems to get them.
It's the second best basketball scene in an action movie.
She did that one page.
I think I've seen that movie once. That's why anything people talk about, I'm like, sure, that probably happened in it. Okay, whatever.
You're correct.
Yeah,
it's the correct choice.
It's a movie with Ron Perlman and people.
and also Captain Swordsman from The Crow. What's his name?
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
Sword
yes,
Thief,
yes.
yeah.
The one
Michael
thing,
something.
the one,
Yeah.
Whose publicist liked a tweet of mine once
Wait,
or
really?
whatever. His
I would
like
just love-
assistant or somebody liked a tweet that I made about him owning a sword collection.
Oh, that must have been
We should
around
get,
when
like-
we did The Crow.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
So my favorite thing that's come out of Alien Resurrection is the PS1 game because it's actually pretty good for the time. I mean, it's not aged well, but
I'm never
they
gonna
made
play
a
that.
pretty.
I don't have a PS1, but I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
it was at the time. It was pretty good.
Right.
I don't even remember it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
Go ahead.
this is one of many stories that came out from Noah Hawley. One that we kind of had a oddly long discussion about the other day, or maybe last week, was that it's set in the same universe. That it's the same cinematic universe. Which, all right,
As which
yeah,
thing?
makes
As
sense.
the Alien movies?
As the
Alien
original
films.
Alien. Which
Well, that's easy to do. Like, you can literally put it anywhere else in the entire universe, and just have xenomorph, like a xenomorph, show up. Because I think hasn't he said it's going to be more horror focused, like back to the first one?
Yeah, he said that basically. He said it's going to be it's going to have a lot in common with the first one, which makes sense. And I understand.
So one thing we haven't seen in a movie for so long.
Yeah, and I understand why he felt the need to clarify that also, which is another thing I was saying in the chat. Like, this is a guy who just did 2 shows, one of which is technically canon with a movie, and one of which is not canon with a whole bunch of other movies.
But better than those movies.
Right. So it makes complete sense that he would clarify which is which, because it could go either way with him. He could have done an Alien that's just its own thing entirely. I don't think he would have done that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know how anyone would do that. Be like, oh yeah, this is an Alien property, but it doesn't take place in the Alien universe. Like, then what? How does that work? Because you've got to assume that Weyland-Yutani was busy fucking around with stuff as long as they could, and obviously the little bit we've learned from the Alien movies is that they have their eggs everywhere. Like, it's so it wouldn't be tough to just be like, yeah, all right, this planet sounds cool, let's use this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard, honestly, for somebody to just stumble upon the
Also, like,
or some
why
version of
bother?
it.
Why bother to not put it in there?
Well, so here's the thing. With Legion, it's not clear that it's its own universe until a while in. Like, they keep it pretty vague.
Yeah, but I mean, with Alien, like we've all said, like, it's almost more work to make it a separate thing.
Yeah,
it is more work, especially if you're like being upfront about it. But if he did go a Legion route and it wasn't clear that it's a different universe until he like introduces a new explanation per se, like he just completely disregards things set up in Prometheus. I actually wouldn't be against that if he changed the canon there again.
Imagine if he just puts it all into the AVP universe.
No, don't.
That if he's just
do
like,
it. Do it.
Fuck yeah,
do it.
The Yajuta are responsible for the aliens now. God damn
it. I guess I'm in the minority, but I actually like Prometheus. Like, I really enjoy it. Like,
I was gonna say I'm in the minority. I'm in the minority where I prefer the AVP origin more than the Prometheus.
See, I think it's also. Go ahead, Hunter.
I was gonna say I prefer neither, but
I prefer neither over both. But if I had to choose,
my preference is that you never learn where they came from. I
understand that's the best preference.
I understand that
they're just space bugs.
Yeah. You don't need to know where they came from.
I call that the Joker reasoning.
Yeah,
like the more you learn, the worse it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I just feel like sometimes that's dumb, and that feels like an excuse to me at times.
Oh, it only works with very specific.
It absolutely has been used as an excuse for poor writing. There are plenty of examples where it's just like, oh, you just didn't think about it. you don't even have an idea as to what the answer is. I like writers to have an answer. I just don't need to know it. That's the thing. Like,
or if the idea is like the not knowing makes them more horrifying,
right? Yeah,
which is where like the Joker thing makes like why it works for that character.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like there are just some things you don't need clarification for because it doesn't add anything to your experience. But on the to what you were saying about Prometheus, Eric, I appreciate Prometheus as a piece of art, but as a piece of entertainment, it does nothing for me.
See, and I think I think that's where it gets twisted in my head, is because I will give anything Ridley Scott does a chance,
Sure.
regardless, and I enjoy majority of his stuff. And also knowing what he originally wanted to do with the opening of Prometheus and why the engineers hate people so much, with the idea that that Jesus was an engineer and we killed him, and that's why the other engineers hate us so much. I love that idea, but of course the studios didn't want to go with that. So
Ridley Scott wanted to make Jesus an even taller, bigger white man?
Yes. Yeah. And an alien.
Well, that's the pattern with Ridley Scott as of late, so why not?
I actually really love that.
Just lean into it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you guys got it wrong. He was whiter.
What if Ridley Scott is like a secret David Icke fucking fanboy?
Oh God!
You know what? I'd be okay with that.
So with this alien show, I'm curious when it's going to take place. Has he specified when? If it's going to be after the Alien films, or is it going to be prior to the Alien films? Or
I was gonna say, like, it'd be really funny if it was all just a dick tease and it's just a movie about like space like scrappers, or a TV show, and the xenomorphs never show up.
Going through an article and trying to remember, I don't think he's ever said anything about when this movie takes place.
Yeah, time frame.
He said a lot about setting. He said it's actually going to take place more on Earth than anything else has.
Okay.
What if it's just a far future version of Fargo?
I mean,
well,
with an alien.
I can only be so hard, Lou.
No, there's no aliens. It's just like a bunch of people in Fargo who just have like Weyland-Yutani like logos on their clothes.
Well, no, this is something like Arlen and I talked about a bit. Like after what was it, season 4 of Fargo was the one with Chris Rock. Like he introduces some pretty heavy like horror vibes in that particular season. And if that's the way the show, his Alien show, is going to go, I am 100% for it. Because what you're saying, Lou, like if it was just about a bunch of scrappers and the alien didn't really show up until near the very end, that would kind of fall in line with what he was doing with Fargo season 5.
Have any of you guys read?
Yeah, if it was presented the way that the thing in season 4 is presented, that would be so.
Have any of you guys read either the script or the comic based on the other?
Yeah, I read the comic. It was okay. I wasn't super impressed.
Conceptually, I think it's better, but I can see why it wasn't a movie. Wouldn't work for a movie, but like the ideas it put forward of like the world building. I literally did air quotes to myself in person, to my dog, I guess. I think was so interesting of like, oh, the world's divided in two. There's like the corporations, and then there's like, what the other one was like is like a communist regime that took over the other half of the planet.
I can't remember.
I can't remember their names, but those are like the two halves that like basically exist. So like William or we got Yutani is like basically owns like half of the Earth. So it's like
falls in line with where they seem to be going with all the other movies that they've had their names involved in. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I am so happy that he's going to be involved with something like this. Because
I just wonder if there's going to be if there's a dance number.
You need to watch Fargo. You need to watch Fargo.
I do need
to watch
Fargo.
Fargo.
You really do need to, because the thing is, Fargo and Legion, there are similarities, but they're vastly different.
Oh, I know. I have such a long queue list of things to watch. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch the Val Kilmer thing. I got a half hour through. I'm like, I'm sad. I'm gonna watch something else. And I'll get back to the Val Kilmer thing.
That's a common experience with the Val Kilmer thing. Every 30 minutes, he does something to like utterly break your heart.
Him explaining holding like the trach tube. I was like, oh god, this guy was fucking Batman for a minute. Like, I need to like take a break.
It's a lot to take in. I'm still excited about this. Every time we get new information about this show, I'm just more excited. I just want it. I want more.
I just envision every time a new bit of information about this drops or anything with Noah Hawley involved, like I automatically have a video of when Guillermo del Toro first saw a full-size Gundam in Japan, and that is just our face every time. Just
absolutely. No, that's exactly what it's like.
Well, because you want like people who make good shit to keep making good shit. So
exactly, and I mean, and this is the other thing we've also been talking about. I'm very glad that Disney is just not locking these things away in a vault.
Yes,
and saying that's where they live now.
They're
doing something with these properties.
That's where like people were crazy. It's like, will it make money? Yes, Disney will do it. That's what it's the bottom line of a corporation.
But
and also Alien and Predator, respectively, are iconic. On the level of anything Disney has ever made.
Oh, I think Predator has like probably one of the top 10 quoted movie lines of all time. And maybe Aliens 2 has Aliens has like the other one. But like, get away from her, you bitch, and get to the chopper. Like,
exactly.
Mentioning Predator, I mean, just real quick, like it's also refreshing to see that it sounds like that new Predator movie is going to have an interesting idea. Like I'm kind of hoping that Disney realizes like they are sitting on a lot of money, and if they let interesting people do interesting things with it, it could make them a lot of money.
I haven't paid attention to the Predator stuff. What's the Predator idea?
It's going by the name Bones is the shooting name, I think, something like that.
I want to say Skull or Skulls.
Skulls, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be like the Predator's first like interaction with humans, and it's in the time before like the United States.
Isn't it with the Native Americans or American Indians?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they said it's not going to be mostly, but a lot of it's going to be in native languages.
I love that. The only other thing like that's really interesting. The only thing I would at all ever want is like, why? Like, I'm sure he'd be down for it. Like, let's revisit Dutch. Like,
sure,
that would be. I see. Not as like the main character, but like. That like he's a government secret, and like because he's the guy.
Put two in the back of his head.
They don't need to. Yeah, exactly.
I guess it would have worked in the past better, but like I do think like the idea, or even Danny Glover's character, like I think it would be fun to revisit those characters in some way.
If you remove the AVP aspect of it, the Predator movies all fit together for the most part. They haven't really done anything that's like, oh, that doesn't fit. Like they've done a pretty good job of making it so that you can logically reason out why certain things are different. You can explain away why the alien dogs and predators are different from the ones in the Predator. Like it's fairly easy to just figure it out. And so those movies all fit together. So you can have Danny Glover come back. The only thing that doesn't make sense actually is Predator 2 is a version of 1997 where everybody has lasers on their guns.
Yes.
I always forget that aspect, that it's technically...
Yeah, Predator 2 is a future movie.
Yeah.
Of a future where 35 years passed.
Yes.
I that just like exploded in my head. I'm like, no, wait a minute. That one's an alternate universe technically. But yeah, other than that, they for the most part all fit together. So yeah, I think that'd be interesting, but as long as they have an interesting story, you know, even though I was very much against the latest Die Hard that was almost going to happen, it doesn't mean that I'm against the idea of doing something else with Die Hard ever again. They just need to have a good idea.
Are you talking about the John McClane prequel?
Yes.
Like, what's the John McClane prequel? He's just a cop in New York.
Well,
because that's supposed to be the whole basis of the first movie. He's just a dude.
The logic in my head is they go back to the books, the book series that the first movie is inspired by.
Yep.
I don't think that they should do that, but if they wanted to, and if they were really mining material from that, I would not actually be angry with them on a philosophical level. I think that would be completely reasonable. I just don't see the reason to do that.
I feel like it's a pointless endeavor to try and bring Die Hard back. Just
let
those first 3 movies exist, and that's it. Like, you don't need anything else.
Problem is, the Die Hard movies are of an era of, like, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, like, kind of like
White macho?
Yeah, like right-wing dad heroism that doesn't work in movies nowadays.
Nope.
Because that's the whole point of that first movie. He's a schlub that becomes a action hero. Yeah. And then the second one, he's even more. And the third one is just awesome because Samuel Jackson.
We're in a place where a lot of it just doesn't work anymore.
Because a man running around with a gun shooting at people is not a positive.
Yes. If you're not watching it in the context of when it came out, it just does not fit. And also, it's a story about a good guy with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a story about a good guy, white cop who shoots people.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm referencing the concept of
yes, I know,
a good guy with a gun.
Yes. I'm just adding the extra sprinkle of also
not
a cop.
to exist and not to matter. So like. It's just tricky. It's tricky to do that kind of. We don't make action movies like that anymore.
We 100% don't. And also, it's like that character just doesn't doesn't work. Like, and I don't even know how you would modernize that character because it just completely changes the story if you make him not white or a woman.
The source material is much more noir. Much more like city cop, beat cop.
Well, yeah, Frank Sinatra was in a version of one of the stories from that same writer.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah. So it just I don't know. Go ahead. Yeah. It just people need to stop trying to strip mine the past. Like
bad past.
Well, not even the bad past, but like something like Aliens or Alien and like Predator, to jump back to that real quick. Like that has potential for hundreds of stories, millions of stories if you so choose to. But Die Hard, like how many different fucking times can John McClane be like in a life-threatening situation and trying to do a prequel to like all the Die Hard films, like, oh, and he's just a beat cop, and then he's in a life-threatening situation. Like,
because eventually John McClane just turns into the character from I lost the name of the movie, so I lost my.
Too bad. Joke's gone. It just I don't know. It doesn't work for me. That'd be like saying like, oh, we need to bring back Lethal Weapon. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Right. You don't.
They did as a TV show.
They didn't need to bring it back, and they had to fire multiple people.
Don't give Mel Gibson more work. Like,
well, he wasn't in that.
Well, whatever. Whoever the fuck that guy is, I don't care.
It doesn't matter. They're evoking the idea of him. They're making a summoning circle.
What I was thinking of, like, eventually John McClane turns into Paul Kersey.
I have no idea what that is.
Death Wish. Which Bruce Willis also did the remake, like a new one of. Because that's like if you carry that character forward, which they did that movie, like how do you make Death Wish? Like it's literally a movie of like old white guys shooting people of color. Like that's the movie.
And Jeff Goldblum wearing a Jughead cap. Anyways,
and every woman gets raped and murdered.
Anyways, so District 10 updates. Excuse me. Like what? What is?
What I was actually gonna say, maybe we should wrap. We don't have to do these extras unless you guys really want to.
I did kind of want to talk about the second one on the extras.
Henry Thomas.
Let's see.
Henry Thomas.
Let's just jump to that one. Actually, yeah. Let's just jump to the Pet Sematary prequel.
Prequel? Oh God!
Wait, what? Why? Why?
Because
who
wants to see who doesn't want to see a movie about happy pets?
Is it supposed to be a prequel to the most recent Pet Sematary film?
I'm not sure.
It would be weird to do a prequel to the original after the new one.
Lou, it might be a prequel to the book. That's
totally... kind of like how Doctor Sleep is a prequel to both.
Well,
no,
or even
Doctor Sleep is not a prequel to anything. It's a sequel to.
I mean, a sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I asked.
That's not how words work.
He's joining a cast.
Hey, today is my day off from working and being a parent for this 2-hour period, and I've had a couple of drinks.
Obviously,
no, that's completely fair, Lou. But no, he's joining a cast that also includes Pam Grier and Samantha Mathis and a bunch of other people I know from nothing else. And it's a prequel. It doesn't say anything about who's playing who. If we assume they're characters that we know. Henry Thomas is playing the old man. Whose name is
escaping. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, don't go that way. Dad is better. Yeah.
Which is good casting, I would say. That's good casting for young Judd. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. This is going to go straight to Paramount Plus.
I'm
not sure how
Can I say I was very confused when you wrote Henry Thomas, and that's not who I thought it was?
No,
I mean, I think you meant.
Did you think I was talking about Zabrowski?
Yes, I did.
Henry Thomas.
That's legitimately. I was like, oh, I thought he got casted that as a side character. And he said the old man. I was like, that's
wait,
wild.
Hold on. You know what's funny? What's funny is he talks about how his mom named him after the actor Henry Thomas.
Yes.
Yes, he has.
So I've been sitting here very confused.
Lou, just to assuage this for in the future when I do this again, if I was going to say Zabrowski, I would type in bold letters, Zabrowski got cast as this.
Yeah.
It would not be.
I didn't know if it was.
It wouldn't be in extras. It would have been in main stories if this would have been Zabrowski.
Yeah.
But I've been reading Stephen King since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Mm-hmm. Don't fucking do a prequel. Don't try and magically manifest something that never existed.
The only prequel that would be interesting is if how the cemetery land was cursed.
No.
Well, we know.
And if it was an American, if it was a story about American Indians, then I'd be fine with it.
Also, there's a Wendigo and there's other stuff, and it's just cursed. It's just cursed.
Wait,
it's part of
how it's not Canada.
God damn it, Lewis! God damn it!
Okay. Do we need Hunter to give us a lesson on New England and how close it is to
Canada? I know. There's a. I was curious because there's a little X-Men story.
Yeah,
Hunter, how long would it take you to get to Canada right now from where you are?
Okay,
from here, 4 hours probably.
There's depending on traffic. Wendigos across the border from Canada to America, and then they turn back to people.
Yeah,
so Canada is the problem.
But that's the thing. A lot of horror movies is the one that's based more on the American Indian version, not the fucking idea of you ate the flesh of a man and now you're going to turn into some giant creature. To an extent, yeah. I mean, it's the Wendigo from American Indian folklore it's a malevolent spirit, and a lot of times it's doesn't really take a physical form. But regardless, don't fuck around with Stephen King stuff, please. The man only has so much longer to live. We don't need to have more shitty adaptations / creations based on his products.
Eric, my only counterpoint to this is, what if it's similar-ish to Castle Rock. And it's
I wasn't a huge fan of Castle Rock.
Then why wouldn't they just do it with Castle Rock?
I don't love the ending of Castle Rock, but I like that first season.
I didn't even finish it.
I like Fraggle Rock.
Well, yeah, doozers make fucking.
If you were going to do stuff, why wouldn't you?
I like how Castle Rock exists in that universe. I do think it has problems, but I like how it exists in that universe.
If you want to play with that kind of stuff, why wouldn't you touch?
This is a different company, and they have.
No. I was going to say, why wouldn't you do some of the stuff with Joe Hill? Because you could say from the son of Stephen King and do some of his shit.
Because
you're saying adapt his stuff.
Okay. Yeah, adapt some of Joe Hill's stuff.
Yes. Lou, that is coming. You realize that. We just
I do know that somebody's doing one of his things. I don't remember which one.
There's 15 Joe Hill things that are in production. They just haven't been released yet. It's just our luck that the only things that have been produced already are the Nosferatu.
A lot of porn.
No, horns. I said
horns. It's everything we've got so far is kind of not good. Hunter, that you're talking about documentaries is what.
Yeah. Well, don't forget about the Netflix adaptation of Lock and Key that kind of fizzled out terribly.
Oh God, that was terrible.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
That came out a year and a half, 2 years ago.
I never watched that.
It's not good.
I did not get very far. I was like,
I think 3 episodes in was the furthest I made it.
It's boring, and then the episode when the kid turns into a ghost is like, this is the worst special effects I've seen. Including CW.
It didn't have the menace that the comic does.
There's no menace. It's literally it's a teen drama. It's Riverdale, but with keys.
Terrible. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just when I first saw it at first I thought it said sequel, not prequel, and I was like, well, whatever. But prequel is even more offensive to me because that's we like this idea that Stephen King had, but what if we could make it better by doing this? There's a reason why he's a beloved horror writer and is still continuing to write now because he knows what he's fucking doing. Even when he's high on cocaine.
He kind of knows what he's doing.
Eric, I completely agree. And the only difference for me between this and that Overlook show is I don't know anything about the people doing this. I have no expectations from the names attached to it.
Honestly, the Overlook show makes more sense to me, a million times.
If you remove the details, they make about as much sense. They're about as logical of a choice to do. But I'm just saying it doesn't have to be awful. But I totally agree. I don't really see the point in doing this.
Well, because if a Pet Semetary prequel or sequel is just doing Pet Semetary again, just with other names,
just with larger animals
or people. I put my wife.
That sentiment is again, Stephen King stuff all takes place in the same universe.
Yeah, it's a universe where everyone still talks like
that's
in
the thing that I like about Castle Rock. So it doesn't necessarily need to be that somebody goes to the Pet Semetary. They can bring in other King stuff, and I'm not against that idea.
It is funny to talk about the King stuff. They only readapt the same 4 things over and over and over again.
Well, because those are the things that they've done already.
How have you not if I know it's an awesome movie, but of all the things to make a new one, I feel like Misery is an easy one to do another version of.
I wouldn't do it.
I feel like it's a losing battle, but it can be translated to a modern time easier.
It technically was a losing battle. I love not Aubrey Plaza, the actress who they cast for Castle Rock season 2. I haven't seen an episode.
I haven't seen
Lizzie Kaplan.
I haven't seen a minute of it because I'm no, you don't get to recast Annie Wilkes. Is that her name?
Yeah, as a gorgeous, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I don't even have a problem with that part. You just don't recast that character.
I think you can recast that character because if you recast it Melissa McCarthy, I think is a good version of that character.
I think that character is one of those where it's like, no, she's not like Randall Flagg, where I don't care what you do with him. Nobody's done a good version of him as far as
well, I would say the other one is
him a million times.
In my head, like the car,
Christine,
like but no one's done anything.
That's the thing, like it just
they do the same like 4 things.
Exactly. Like how many different fucking short stories, which I would argue are his strongest work, have they not touched? Like or even that movie Revival, which got like pulled out from underneath Mike Fleming's fucking feet. And I hate, or was it Flanagan? Was it Fleming?
Flanagan,
yeah. Like there is a wealth of other stuff to adapt. Stop trying to make something that either was a success or was a moderate success happen again. Like,
would this be bad or good?
The dude's been writing since the 70s. Like, just
if you did Christine but made it like an AI, like a self-driving car.
No,
they're not going to do that.
Purpose of it.
No, and that's not what Brian is going to do with it.
Wait, someone's doing a Christine movie?
Yeah, the guy who did Hannibal is doing a Christine show, I want to say.
How do you do a show? Is it Knight Rider? But she's a killer?
It's the serial killer version of Knight Rider.
No, it's Knight Rider. It's Knight Rider meets Dexter.
Lou, why did you go straight to like 22 episode or just like long? I assume 8 episodes and then he's out. Because it's Brian Fuller, so it won't get past 8 episodes anyway.
I'm still saying it's Knight Rider meets Dexter. So
once again, why? Like, just I could go like grab any of his short story books out of my fucking library and turn to a random story and be like, oh yeah, they haven't done that. This would be great. This would be great.
Sure.
Like there was, what was it? The Lurch or the Reach? It's the one that's about like about space travel, but it ends up being terribly fucked up at the end. Like that one's been attempted to be adapted multiple times, but nobody's been able to actually come through with it. Like there's so much stuff. Well, just stop.
It gets to the fear that it feels like it's some parts of Hollywood. I was gonna say, like, there's like, I feel like we're sort of in parts of Hollywood leaving the fear of needing to do adaptations or like hardcore, really studio controlled stuff, and the other part is even clamped down even harder. So, somehow Stephen King is in that side of it.
I think that's absolutely part of it. I think there's also the fact that you have people who grew up on his books, and what they want to adapt is what they want to adapt. Brian Fuller wanted to adapt Christine, and I even if I don't like love some of his decision making, if he says that he wants to do Christine, I kind of get it.
Only if it stars Vin Diesel.
I get it, and I've heard him talk about it at length. I've heard him talk about that book at length.
I feel like the humor of like Vin Diesel fighting with like a sentient car was lost.
Lou,
I'm sad now. I'm gonna stop talking.
Lou,
I'm retired.
Stop pitching past
I feel like the problem is I'm pitching plausible movies, and that's why it's not funny.
Exactly. No, this could be a movie where like the ghost of somebody who died in a previous movie is possessing a car.
Han?
No, because he's alive now. He's alive in canon, technically. I'm talking about an actual ghost, Lou. Not somebody who they brought back. Okay, that's wrap, guys.
Yeah.
It's getting late. Late.
I think we're out of juice.
All right. Well, it's been a bit of a meandering episode, but we covered most of the news stories. I've been your host, Eric Fedorchak. You can find me at Eric_Fedor on Instagram. There's a picture of dogs and food and cats and comics. I'm also on the Phantom Zone doing Phantom Zone things. I'm also going on to other people's Instagrams who are blatantly ripping off the design and ideas of friends' podcasts and trying to call them out on it, and then getting a shitty douchebag response because anyone who has neck tattoos and lives in New Jersey is probably a dickbag.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna drive New Jersey and pants you.
As someone from New Jersey, I co-sign that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of that, the last thing I want to say about Stephen King is, hey, there's these two books. One is called Talisman and one's called Black House. And one's a sequel to the other, and they're really long, and they could make amazing fucking series. But no, let's not do that. Let's do fucking Pet Semetary again.
Let's do Cujo again.
Yeah, let's do it.
Eric,
wait, what if
Black House happening on this
But
show?
Hunter, what if this time
I
Cujo
can't
was
hear
like
you over everyone, Ireland.
Eric,
What was that?
It was an acronym?
Eric, they announced Black House. They 100% announced Black House.
But they didn't do the Talisman. How are they gonna? Fuck.
Eric, they
can't even do that right. No,
do both.
It fundamentally does not work if you introduce Black House first.
I'm telling you, you're wrong. You can do both.
When was the last time you read them?
To be fair, I don't think I ever get around to those two. But I'm telling you that
yes, no, you can't.
Arlen's read the Wikipedia.
You can't. It doesn't work.
Okay, Eric.
It doesn't.
Eric.
It doesn't. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can be condescending all you want, but I've actually read the book, so maybe I know a little bit more about it.
I can't read.
All right, I'm gonna get onto my plate.
Can I say my pitch, Cujo? But this time it's a cat.
All
right, we're making that movie. I got Zach Braff.
But who's playing the cat?
Oh, Zach Braff. I just told you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this time it's a husband. It's a single dad and his daughter in the car.
Anyway, Bond podcast returning tomorrow. Go listen to it.
The show that Arlen refuses to have me on until there's Korean people in it.
No, you can be on next episode if you want. We're doing Dalton.
I don't know what that is, so no.
Okay. Damn. All right. You can go listen to you can go listen to Kame House. I almost just bit my Instagram. Fuck. Go listen to Kame House every Sunday. We talked about Pokemon this week, and that's cool. Yeah, go listen to that. And just be nice to people, I guess. I mean, and get vaccinated. Fuck you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so my plug, go listen to young_Kami House on all your podcast feeds.
Damn you.
It's a video game podcast. You can listen to all of it. We talk about video game stuff. I think we're doing Pokemon this week.
Yeah,
so hey, all that stuff. And I guess my jokes aren't funny because there could be real things. So, yeah.
All right. And with all that out of the way, I hope everybody had a good time. And bye.
Bye.
We did it.
Adios.